Hi students, this is A. Mandari Kumar Rajesh. In this video, we are going to discuss the remaining general characteristic features of Bryophytes. In the last video, we have discussed up to vegetative reproduction in Bryophytes. In this video, first we are going to discuss sexual reproduction in Bryophytes. In Bryophytes, sexual reproduction is oogamous type, advanced type. So oogamous type means the male reproductive organ are represented by the name antheridia, the female reproductive organ represented by the name archegonium. Then these two reproductive structures or the organs are protected by sterile jacket layer. So this sterile jacket layer protected these two reproductive organs from desiccation and mechanical damage. So antheridia and archegonia are protected by sterile jacket layer cells, and they are multicellular. Sterile jacket layer cells are multicellular. They are made up of more than one cells. So these sterile jacket layer cells are able to protect archegonia and antheridium from desiccation and mechanical damage. So antheridium and archegonium yaar prevent பண்றா? Sterile jacket layer cells. எதுல இருந்து? From desiccation. Desiccation na water loss. அது வந்து dry ஆக விடாம என்ன பண்ணுது? Protect பண்ணுது. Then mechanical damage. வேற எந்த பாதிப்பு இல்லாம பாத்துக்கிட்டற யாரு? Sterile jacket layer cells. Then water is essential for fertilization because antheridia releases the male gamete in the water current, and that male gamete has flagella. They are biflagellate, so it can swim in the water current and it can reaches the archegonium for fertilization. So the water la antheridia either release பண்ணுது, male gamete release பண்ணுது. So water current la அந்த antheridia அந்த male gamete வந்து என்ன ஆகுது? Anthrozoites swim பண்ணுது with the help of flagella and it reaches the archegonium for fertilization. சரிங்களா? So அப்போ water is essential for fertilization. If it reaches the archegonium, fertilization takes place, results in the formation of zygote. So the zygotes are diploid in nature because antheridia, the anthrozoite, and the female gamete contains N, that is haploid in nature. So ரெண்டு fuse ஆகும்போது நமக்கு என்ன கிடைக்குது? Zygote கிடைக்குது and they are diploid in nature. It contains 2N. It contains 2N. So the zygote is the first cell of sporophyte generation. So ரெண்டு gameteம் fuse ஆன உடனே கிடைக்கக்கூடிய first cell என்னது? Zygote. அதுதான் என்னன்னு சொல்றாங்க? Sporophytic generation ஓட first cell அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. Zygote is the first cell of sporophytic generation. Sporophytic generation நாலே they represent 2N. It contains two set of chromosomes. They are diploid in nature. Then that zygote undergoes repeated mitotic division. This zygote undergoes repeated mitotic division to form multicellular undifferentiated embryo. And the zygote என்ன பண்ணுது? It enters into mitotic cell division. Multiplication of cells பண்ணுது. யாரு? இந்த zygote. அதனால நமக்கு என்ன கிடைக்குது? Multicellular undifferentiated, வேறுபடுத்த முடியாத ஒரு embryo கிடைக்குது. சரிங்களா? Then the embryogeny is exoscopic. அதனா embryogeny is exoscopic. Embryogeny na the production of embryo, and they have mentioned the term exoscopic. Exoscopic na என்ன அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, consider it is a zygote. So நான் என்ன சொன்னா? It enters mitotic cell division. So இந்த mitotic cell division எப்படி நடக்கும்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, it takes place, that cell division takes place transversely. அப்போ ஒரு செல் என்ன எத்தனை செல்லா மாறும்? ரெண்டு செல்லா மாறும். one cell become two cells. So ரெண்டு செல்லா மாறியாச்சு. In the outer cell, this outer cell are able to produce embryo. The outer cell எதை produce பண்ணுது? Embryoவை produce பண்ணுது. That is why they are tell us embryogeny is exoscopic. This outer cell can produce embryo. That is why they have mentioned embryogeny is exoscopic. அப்ப இந்த inner cell எதை produce பண்ணும் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, that inner cell can produce future food and sita capsule. So outer cell can produce embryo. அதனால தான் நம்ம அதை என்ன சொல்றோம், exoscopic னு சொல்றோம். Inner cell எதை produce பண்ணுதா, food and sita. Food and sita capsule என்ன பண்ணுது, produce பண்ணுது inner cell. சரிங்களா? So embryogeny is exoscopic. Then the sporophyte is depend on gametophyte. அப்ப இந்த embryo தான் என்னவா develop ஆகும்? That embryo only develop into a sporophyte. இந்த embryo தான் எதா develop ஆகுது? The sporophyte develop ஆகுது. The sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. So இதுதான் gametophyte, இதுதான் sporophyte. Actually is a moss bryophyte. Example for a moss. It contains gametophyte and sporophyte. So இந்த gametophyte depend பண்ணி யார் இருக்கா, இந்த sporophyte இருக்கு. Because gametophyte only contains chloroplast. It contains a leaf-like structure. They can do photosynthesis. The gametophyte la என்ன இருக்கு, chloroplast இருக்கு. They can do photosynthesis. They can prepare their own food. அப்போ இந்த gametophyte இந்த sporophyte எதுக்கு டிபெண்ட் பண்ணிருக்கு? It depends for nutrition and water. ஏன் இந்த rhizoids என்ன பண்ண முடியும்? It fixes the thallus to the substratum and it can absorb water and it can absorb nutrition. So இந்த gametophyte ல இருந்து nutrition எங்க போகுது? இந்த sporophyte க்கு போகுது. இந்த sporophyte க்கு போகுது. சரிங்களா? So sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. அப்ப நம்ம sporophyte என்னன்னு சொல்லலாம்? Sporophyte is a semi-parasite. A semi-parasite because it depend upon gametophyte for nutrition, water. Then sporophyte is differentiated into three parts, namely food, sita and capsule. So in the region தான் நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்றோம், gametophyte னு சொல்றோம். This region is called as sporophyte. So sporophyte can be differentiated into three parts, namely food. So this region is called as food. A stalk-like structure is called sita, and finally it contains a capsule. It contains a capsule. So food is embedded in the gametophyte. Food எதுல சொருகி இருக்குது, இந்த gametophyte. எதுக்காக gametophyte குள்ள இருக்குது அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, gametophyte produce பண்ண nutrition and water எது மூலமா இந்த sporophyte க்கு transfer பண்ணுது, through this food. So food can transport the nutrition and water from the gametophyte. Then sita, it is a tubular structure. Sita is a tubular structure. So it can transport food and water to the capsule. So இது வழியாக இந்த sita வழியாக எங்க போகுது, food and water capsule க்கு போகுது. So sita is a stalk. It is a stalk which bears capsule. சரிங்களா? ஒரு காம்பு மாதிரி ஆக்ட் பண்ணுது. எதை பியர் பண்ணிருக்கு? It contains capsule. அப்ப capsule னா என்ன? What is called capsule? Capsule only contains diploid spore mother cells. It is a structure which contains diploid spore mother cells. Diploid spore mother cells na they are in 2n. Two set of chromosomes இருக்கும். Diploid spore mother cells எதுக்குள்ள, இந்த capsule குள்ள. So இந்த capsule குள்ள இருக்கக்கூடிய diploid spore mother cell undergoes meiotic division or reduction division. அப்போ reduction division நடந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த diploid spore mother cells என்னவா மாறும், haploid spores ஆ மாறும். என்னவா மாறும், haploid spores. So the diploid spore mother cells undergoes meiotic division and it becomes haploid spores. This haploid spores only develop into gametophyte. This haploid spores only develop into gametophyte in future. இப்போ இந்த haploid spores தான் என்னவா டெவலப் ஆகுது, gametophyte டெவலப் ஆகுது. அப்போ இந்த capsule தான் என்ன இருக்குது, diploid spore mother cell இருக்கு. அது meiosis குள்ள என்டர் ஆகுது, செல் டிவிஷன் குள்ள என்டர் ஆகுது. அது எதை ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுது, haploid spore ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்ணுது. அந்த haploid spores தான் என்னவா மாறுது, gametophyte மாறுது. Then Bryophytes are homosporous. Bryophytes are homosporous. அப்படின்னா என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா Bryophytes can produce only one types of spore, only one type of spores. Bryophytes are homosporous. Homosporous means same. Homo means same. It can able to produce only one type of spores. அதனால தான் என்ன சொல்றாங்க Bryophytes are homosporous. Then in some sporophytes elaters are present. In some sporophytes elaters are present. It is a tubular structure. Elaters are a tubular structure which contains spiral thickenings. These elaters are helpful in dispersal of spores. Dispersal of spores. Especially these elaters are present in liverworts. That is Hepatopsida. அப்படிங்கிற Bryophyte groupல இந்த elaters இருக்கு. சரிங்களா? இந்த elaters ஓட function என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it disperses the spore. It disperses the spore. ஏன் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா these elaters are hygroscopic. Hygroscopic means they can absorb moisture and they can disperse, they can push the spores out of the sporophyte. அந்த sporophyteல இருந்து இந்த elaters வந்து என்ன பண்ண முடியும் spores வெளியே தள்ள முடியும் due to the absorption of moisture. அட்மாஸ்பியர்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய மாய்ஸ்டர் ஈரப்பதத்தை எடுத்துக்கிட்டு என்ன பண்ணுது வெளியே தள்ளுது spores வெளியே தள்ளுது and that structure is called as elaters. சரிங்களா? So liverwortsல elaters are present. While in the case of that Anthroceras Bryophytes, they contain pseudo-elaters. They contain pseudo-elaters. So in hornworts, they contains pseudo-elaters. What are pseudo-elaters? Pseudo means false, elaters means a structure that which is helpful in spore dispersal. For pseudo-elaters ni ஏன் சொல்றாங்கன்னா actually it is a sporophyte. It dries, it can grow long, that sporophyte can grow long and it dries and it releases the spore after maturation. சரிங்களா? ஆக்சுவலா ஒரு ஸ்போரோஃபைட் தான் என்னவா ஆக்ட் பண்ணுது எலைட்டரா ஆக்ட் பண்ணுது. இட் இஸ் நாட் அ ட்ரூ எலைட்டர். இட் இஸ் நாட் அ ட்ரூ எலைட்டர். அந்த ஸ்போரோஃபைட் தான் என்னவா ஆக்ட் பண்ணுது எலைட்டரா ஆக்ட் பண்ணுது. அதனால தான் அதை நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்றோம் சூடோ எலைட்டர் அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். So the pseudo elaters are seen in hornworts plants. Seen in hornwort Bryophytes. Elaters are seen in liverworts. In mosses elaters are absent. Pseudo elaters are absent. So liverworts Bryophyte la enna irukudhu elaters irukudhu. Example Markensia. Pseudo elaters are present in hornworts. Example Anthoceras. In mosses elaters are absent. Elaters are absent. Then the zygote அப்புறம் embryo that sporophyte represents the diploid phase. Diploid phase. The zygote, embryo, then sporogonium. Nothing. Sporogonium is nothing but a sporophyte. So zygote, embryo, the sporophyte represents diploid phase. They are short living phase. So Bryophyteல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா dominant phase என்னது the gametophytic phase தான். சரிங்களா? So in Bryophyte gametophytic phase is the dominant phase, sporophytic phase is the reduced phase. சரிங்களா? Then the sporophytic phase and the gametophytic phase is alternate with each other. Gametophytic phase sporophytic phase என்ன ஆயிட்டு இருக்கும் மாறி மாறி வந்துகிட்டு இருக்கும். So it shows alternation of generation. Not only alternation of generation, they have mentioned a particular term called heterologous alternation of generation. Heterologous என்ன nothing but heteromorphic. The gametophyte and sporophytes are morphologically dissimilar. The gametophyte the sporophyte morphologically என்னவா இருக்கு dissimilar இருக்கு. That is why they have called this heterologous alternation of generation. Heterologous alternation of generation. So in Bryophyte, gametophytic phase is the dominant phase, sporophytic phase is the reduced phase. So that's all about general characteristic features of Bryophytes. Let me tell about classification of Bryophyte. This classification was proposed by the scientist Proscott in the year 1957. He classified the Bryophytes into three classes, namely Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida, Bryopsida. Hepaticopsida is otherwise called as liverworts. Hepati means liver. So Hepaticopsida is otherwise called as liverworts. Anthoceratopsida is otherwise called as hornworts. Bryopsida is otherwise called as moss. Example for Hepaticopsida are Riccia, Markensia, Corolla, Riella. Example for Anthoceratopsida are Anthoceras and Dendroceras. Example for Bryopsida are Funaria, Polytrichum and Sphagnum. That's all about classification of Bryophytes. Let us discuss the economic importance of Bryophytes. In Netherlands, peat is used as fuel in commercial scale. Actually, this peat moss is dead thalli of Sphagnum Bryophyte. So the peat moss அப்படிங்கிறது என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா the dead plant body of Sphagnum Bryophyte. So அந்த இறந்து போன plant body of Sphagnum தான் என்னன்னு சொல்றோம், peat moss ன்னு சொல்றோம். So அந்த dead body of the plant body of Sphagnum என்ன ஆகுது, get compressed and hardened and it become peat. Then nitrates, brown dye and tanning materials are also derived from peat. Sphagnum and peat are also used in horticulture as packing material because of their water holding capacity. Sphagnum can hold water more times than its weight. So sphagnum and peat are used in horticulture as packing material. Markensia polymorpha is used to cure pulmonary tuberculosis, lung tuberculosis. Markensia polymorpha. Then another example, Polytrichum commune. Decoction of Polytrichum commune is used to remove kidney stone and gallbladder stone. Then decoction of sphagnums are used to treat eye disorders. Then sphagnum, bryum and polytrichum are used as food material. Bryophytes plays a major role in soil formation through succession because bryophytes can live on rock surfaces. It can secrete some chemicals. So due to that chemicals, withering of rock takes place, results in the formation of soil, and it helps in soil conservation because it spread like a mat over the soil. The bryophytes spread over the soil like a mat, so it can prevent the soil erosion. So it helps in soil conservation. So that's all about today's video. If you have any doubt, please let me know. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.